Have you ever wondered how people duplicate themselves on screen?
Actually, yeah. How do they do that?
Let me show you how. What's going on, guys? Hopefully you like that intro. It's just a quick, simple little video that I did just for this video. Today I'm going to teach you how to do masking. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the computer. Before we get started in jumping into the computer, I actually have one thing I need to explain. First of all, I recorded one long clip. Now, what I mean by that is I used the rule of thirds, right? And I recorded myself on the left side of the screen. And then after I got done, recording everything I wanted in the first portion of it, I jumped over to the other side of the screen and started recording on that. So in other words, me standing up, I recorded on the right side or left, whatever, however you're viewing this. And then on the other one, I recorded on the left or right, the other side. A couple things I want to point out. One, please make sure that you have manual focus set, because if you do autofocus, when you do this, it's gonna kind of look like the focus is off on half of the screen compared to the other. All right, so make sure you have manual focus on. Two, you want to make sure that whatever you're recording on, phone, camera, right? I did it on my camera, but make sure that it is set on like a tripod or in a still area where it's not going to move, because you need to have the exact same background, exact same thing. You can't have like things moving in the back, like you can't have cars going by and stuff like that, because it'll just mess it up. Those are a couple of the things I wanted to go over. So with that being said, let's go ahead and hop into the computer now. All right, so now that we're in the computer, what I'm going to do is I already put the full video in here. So as you can see, if I scrub through this, I have one long thing, and then you see me get up, I move, and I go to the other side, and then now you're gonna see the other half of it pop up like that, right? So what we do is we clip out what we're gonna use, right? So I clipped out what I am gonna use for the first half, and then I cut it out, right? Now I'm going to the second one, and I'm clipping out what I am going to use and what I'm gonna keep. Now, come down here, I have two clips, right? Because I cut them, essentially. Now, when you go through and you look, you can see down here that there's no talking right here, right? But there's talking right here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to line them up so it looks like it's gonna fit, right? So, let's see if that works. Have you ever wondered how people duplicate themselves on screen? Okay, so now that I got it on top, I'm listening to both the voices, okay? Now, I don't really care at this point what the under looks like or what the top looks like. I'm just looking at the sounds. Like, I want to make sure the sounds are sounding good. So, let me restart it. Have you ever wondered how people duplicate themselves on screen?
Actually, yeah. How do they do that?
Let me show you how. So I think I should move it just a little bit more, because there's too much of a pause right there. So I'm gonna move it up just a little bit, and let's see. Wondered how people duplicate themselves on screen?
Actually, yeah. How do they do that?
Let me show you how. Okay, so it's not too bad of a pause, So I'm gonna go ahead and go with that. So now, my next step, right? What I'm gonna do is click on my little thing right here for the effects. One more thing I wanted to tell you about real quick. Now, with this, if you want to make it just a little bit easier to like kind of line it up a little bit better, because as you can see, I'm kind of hanging off here on the like the size of the clip. Declick this, so now that it's highlighted, it's on. So turn it off. That's just your snapping. What that does is if you get close to the end of a clip, most people are gonna want to just kind of get it at the end of the clip, so it just automatically jumps forward. It's a good tool to have, but in this case, no, because I want to set it to a specific point. Okay, so now that that's out of the way, I got that. Everything's lined up, everything's good. So now what I'm going to do, actually before I jump into the other part, I am going to try to trim this down just a little bit so it lines up together. As you can see, about right there. Actually, I wonder if this will come in handy with this. Yep, sure does. So I'm gonna end it at the end spot of the same, first and second clip. So now what we're gonna do is go into the effects, like I was saying, go down here and type in masking. Why did that? There we go. So then we're gonna click on draw mask. Now I'm gonna click on this draw mask and drop it in my top clip, okay? So now that's in the top clip, as you can see, it looks like nothing happened, right? Right here where it says click to add a control point. That's what we're gonna use. Now, the draw mask is selected, right? I'm gonna go ahead and just click just right here. We'll do it at the beginning, how about that? So now, what we're going to do is go right here to where it says 20%. I'm going to do 12.5. So now, as you can see, I can click on the outside of the screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click right here, click right here, click right here, click right here, and click right here. So now that's on there. It doesn't look like anything's happening, right? Well, that's because we got to invert the mask. So I'm going to click on invert the mask right here, and boom, there I go, right? So now, one thing I want to point out, if you need to add different points, you can double click on the red line anywhere and it'll add another point. Now, what that is good for is if you have to reshape your mask, okay? So I just did a basic box because this mask is actually pretty easy, but if you were doing like transitions and stuff like that, you're gonna want to fit it to, like, say, like a wiping transition. Like if I'm going like this, right, I want it to follow my hand, so I'm gonna add click points to go around my hand and whatnot, right? So that way it follows my hand. But back to this, we have this already set, right? So let's see, we're gonna click over a few, and then here I come, right? So I'm still in frame, so I'm not moving anything, okay? I'm just gonna keep it going just to check. Okay, so there we go, right? I didn't even have to move it. That's actually good on my part. That's why I use the rule of thirds, the 3-line grid. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back to the beginning, right? And then I am going to add this. Where is it? So you're gonna click on transform arrows, right? And you're gonna click on the position keyframe, the rotation keyframe, the scale keyframe, and then control points, right? So now all those are marked. This is where I would say, like, if you needed to move like this whole red box so you can mask, like move your mask around, this is where these come in handy because it's gonna follow it, right? But since, like I said, I don't really need to, I'm just gonna leave it how it is, right? So.
Ever wondered how people duplicate themselves on screen? Actually, yeah. How do they do that? Let me show you how.
Boom, and we're done. So there are different ways to use this mask. Like I said, this is just a simple way. I wanted to make a quick video, show you guys how to do it, because I've had a couple people ask me how I do it. A couple cousins, friends, buddies, stuff like that. But no, I just had a couple people ask me about it, so I figured I'd just make a little tutorial and show you guys how to do it. It's pretty simple, pretty fun, pretty easy. Other than that, I think my next tutorial, what I'm going to do is probably speed ramps and try to explain how those are used, because I had a cousin ask me about it, because he's actually getting quite big on YouTube, TikTok and stuff like that. If you want, go follow him. His name's King Lion. If you're into, you know, games and stuff like that, this is how you spell it. Go check him out, give him a sub. But he was asking me about speed ramps for his videos and whatnot, so I'm gonna probably do like a little tutorial just for him. But other than that, like, share, subscribe. Let me know if there's anything else you guys want to know, or if you have any questions about the masking process. I know sometimes I talk a little too much, but it is what it is. Alright, so like, share, subscribe. Peace.